Well, hundreds of communities were left without safe drinking water in southeast Texas because of Hurricane Harvey.
At least 47 water systems are shut down, and 171 areas have issued notices to boil water. But Houston is not on that list despite significant flooding at one of its water plants. Our new CBS News correspondent, Bianna Golodryga, is in her hometown of Houston with the scramble that kept the city's water supply safe.
For the first time, Houston officials are revealing just how close they came to a potential drinking water crisis. Harvey flooded the Northeast water purification plant last week. The machines that kept its water filters clean were themselves underwater.
The filters are the lifeblood of the plant. If you lose filtration, there's nothing you can do.
Drew Molly is the facility's assistant director.
At the peak of nervousness, were you more in engineer mode or in prayer mode?
I was in prayer mode. I was in survivor mode.
They're ramping back up.
Houston Mayor Sylvester Turner said the plant shutting down would have been a huge blow to a city already in crisis.
People to boil your water and then tell them at the same time, but the water is safe.
Right.
That doesn't work. For the city of Houston and for our region, this plant simply could not fail.
To buy more time for the filters, Molly and his team slashed how much clean water the plant was pumping out.
How high did it get?
All the way up.
Contractor Peck Boswell then brought aqua barriers and pumps to get all of the floodwater out. Without them,
We would have had to have shut the plant down.
And that's the phone call that the mayor said he wanted to avoid at all costs.
That is right.
the plant is functioning normally again, helping to provide clean water to some 2.2 million customers.
I actually had somebody come out and drill the hole.
But not everyone in the Houston area gets drinking water from the city. Some, like Leo Ramirez and Adriana Betancourt, rely on private wells.
This was our kitchen.
Their house was under 3 feet of floodwater, a stew of countless toxins and pollutants. They allowed CBS This Morning and the county health department to test their well water. Both results suggest the presence of fecal matter.
There's some form of E. coli as well as other bacteria.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
What does this tell you about going forward and rebuilding?
Well, this is our house. We're going to rebuild, try to keep moving forward.
Our new CBS News correspondent, Bianna Golodryga, joins us now from Houston. First of all, Bianna, thank you so much for taking time out to talk to us, and welcome to CBS News.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited and honored to be working alongside everyone there at CBS.
So I know this is going to be hitting very close to home because Houston is your home, and you've been speaking to officials there who say the city's water system was hours away from failure. How much worse could the situation have been?
Oh, it could have been charismatically worse. I mean, it was stunning to hear about what could have potentially unfolded in this city. The mayor finally opened up about how drastic the water situation was, how they were trying relentlessly to keep a water plant from flooding. If they had to shut this water plant down, then by state law, they would have had to deem every single household here that relies on city water as undrinkable, that the water would have to be ordered to be boiled. And that is something obviously the city did not want to do. The mayor was not prepared to do. He said, whatever it takes to keep that plant functioning, we've got to make sure that that happens because this city will go into crisis mode. 2.2 million citizens in this city rely on city water. And so the mayor said, if possible, please do everything you can to make sure that that plant stays functioning.
So then how has it affected the drinking water in the surrounding area of Houston?
So tens of thousands of people in the area rely on well water. That's private wells that they've constructed themselves. They're outside of the city district. The city does not provide for that water. The county oversees it. And a lot of these people throughout the years have been telling us that they periodically tested their water with Harris County health officials and private officials as well, that the water came back clean. We spoke with one family that unfortunately had been submerged by the water. Some 3 feet of water inundated their home. They had to leave. They relied on a well. They thought that their water was clean. We had it tested by a private company, and unfortunately the results came back that it was in fact contaminated with E. coli. So Harris County health officials starting today are going to be setting up facilities throughout the area where people who rely on their own private well water can submit samples for testing. Once those results are in, then the officials will be helping them figure out how they can decontaminate their water with chlorine.
So, Bianna, how long could it take before all of Houston's water is back to normal, and what should people be doing?
You know, you talk to the mayor, and the city really, and as a Houstonian, I have to say, you know, as journalists first, we're always objective, but as Houstonian, I was reminded of how resilient this city is, and the mayor put it best on Face the Nation this weekend, where he said this isn't a pity party here. You know, the city obviously needs funds, the city needs aid relief as well, and for their first responders in particular, many of which have lost their homes. But having said that, he also said the city is open for business as of today. Many federal employees are returning to work for the first time since Harvey hit. There, of course, are still areas like this one, whether it's from the storm, whether it's man-made. The flooding throughout the city, definitely not at the levels that we saw last week, where some 30% of the city was submerged underwater. I came into town Sunday expecting the worst. Most of the highways that we had seen those images of being underwater are now clear, and people are on the roads. There are, of course, these pockets of neighborhoods that are still not able to get home.
All right, Bianna Golodryga in Houston, thank you so much.
Thank you. Great to be with you.